Anyway, yeah. So it's been this is going into the second year, and I'm just processing all of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But how has yours been so
It
far?
was good. It was very chill. It was my first time hosting Thanksgiving, so
You hosted like
with some
Do you
friends.
need to
Oh,
choke up on that?
check, mic
Okay,
check,
you're good.
check. Uh, yeah, it was with my bandmates. So and their wives. So only two of them could make it. My drummer and my keyboard player came. And they brought their wives because they recently got married over this past year.
Congrats to them.
Yes, so it was awesome. I was nervous. I cooked a little bit, but they didn't eat much. I think my keyboardist, he came from his in-laws place, so really we were just drinking mostly, but my drummer, he eats, he'll get a couple plates, so he helped out.
Okay, your first like adult things.
Yeah, at home. So we had the wine out. I am obsessed with peanut butter whiskey. That is like my new
I've had that
obsession.
What do you mix it with?
Nothing. You go chill that shit and shoot that shit. Like, I don't do shots, but I just sip it in a nice, thin glass, and it's so good. It was just so random how I found out about it at a show I was doing at a theater, and they just like, here, we got free drinks, we got peanut butter whiskey. I'm like, what the heck, peanut butter? I love peanut butter, but in my whiskey, dare I? I tried it, and it was so funny because I took a sip. I was like, oh, this is good. I let my girlfriend try it, and she was like, you're gonna have to go get you another drink. So it passed the girlfriend test too.
Okay, there you go. That's awesome. Your bandmates, how did you meet? How did you get your band together?
Man, I really didn't. I was at a show I did, and it was really one of those plug and play. I just plugged my phone in, and it was in someone's backyard. It was super random, and this guy was like, "Oh my God, I would love to put a band together for you and work with you." Just like that. He was just like, I always wanted to have a hip hop band. He knew all the people. He was my original bass player, but he's not with me now. But the rest of my bandmates are, and I got a bass player I've been playing with off and on. He was like a sub, but like now he's like official.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been with us.
So you go to this party, you do your thing, and then he's just like, yeah, I want to make this for you.
Yeah, yes. And then we just started rehearsing in like December of 2016. And then by like February 2017, I was opening for Rod Digger and Sub T. So I was like, hell yeah, I've arrived. It changed everything about me. It kind of made me lazy as far as looking for beats because they were making, my tracks and my Black Magic. That's all bandmates. But we've been together, 6 years. And it's flown by. We lost 2 to COVID, so it just feels like we're getting back to.
You lost 2 members?
2? No, I'm sorry, 2 years. 2 years. God. No, I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah.
But we didn't see each other. We
Right,
did not.
right.
I didn't see them for like almost 2 years straight. And so now we're back to doing shows this year. We've been pretty busy, and we're starting next year off definitely with the festival show. It's called Tomorrow Never Knows, and it's like a bunch of bars like Lincoln Hall, Shuba, Golden Dagger is where I'll be performing. But we'll be closing out the festival Sunday night, January 22nd. So that'll be the first big show of next year. Amazing. So yeah, we're back. It feels like I'm back and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to see you guys at
Sub T.
Yeah. And I love that it's a live band.
Yeah.
I don't know, as a rapper, do you feel a difference when you're out there, no band versus band?
Oh, absolutely. So with the band, I notice I'm louder, I project more, because it could be overpowering. That's something I had to learn. But really, you don't have to scream if you got a good soundman. That's when I start to love sound engineers, what they do. And usually I know it's good if I can, still hear myself. I know the monitor should be facing, or if I need to say more. But without a band, I can kind of, because I do these So Far sound shows, and they're usually, I don't have my bandmates. They don't really pay enough to, for the full band. So it'll be me with my phone. I plug it in, play tracks, and I can hear myself more. I don't really have to push as much, so I like them. They're easier to do, but I'll always prefer live music. I remember when we first started playing together, that feeling like you felt like you're going to fly off the stage, especially when my drummer, Luke, he's the coldest. He is the best. Yeah. And that's usually what I follow is the beat. I ride the beat, and he just goes off at times, and it's like Super Saiyan, like Goku, like with music. So I'm totally grateful for them. They become my family, and I want to do more. I want us to tour. Like that is the goal for next year, is get on the road, because I feel like we just do a lot of shows in Chicago, which I love. It's my home, but man, I just want to see what the world has to offer.
So you've never gone on tour before?
I have, but not with the band. So I've been, this was like 2016. I went on tour, just like 5 cities, but it was nice. It was cool. It took a toll on me. It's different when you got to do music. I've traveled for work, but when you're doing shows every night, it definitely wears on you. But I definitely want to give it another shot. I got so many friends just across the country that I'd love to show up in their city, and they bring their friends out. Like, I know her. I worked with her. I went to school with her. Because they're like, come to my city. So I was like, I'll be there.
The touring stuff is interesting. So as a comic, obviously I don't bring a bunch of stuff, and there's like you just go with another comic usually. And that's something I'm curious about, how you'll handle that dynamic of a group of people in like a truck or a car all the time. Like when we're driving to Indiana or Wisconsin, you realize like, oh, I've got 3 hours just next to this person.
Right.
How do you think that's going to affect you guys? How do you
well, it depends, because a bunch of us have cars, and we haven't really talked about the logistics if we're going to be in a van together. And then it's like, are we just going to do shows on weekends? Because we all got jobs, day jobs. So it's hard to just like take 2 weeks off of anything. I got a daughter. So it's hard for me to really take out that much time and be on the road. So it really just depends. I'm trying to keep it like Midwest, so we're not doing too much traveling. That way, if we probably need to drive separately, it's like a 4-hour drive, something manageable. But I know that is something, as tours get successful, like you want to be able to have a bus and travel together. But we've spent a bunch of time like at rehearsals. These are some of the coolest, funniest, smartest, chill dudes ever. Every time I'm around them, I feel like my IQ goes up at least 5 points. So it's at about 1,000 now. So, but I love them. I love to hang with them. They're really cool. And just see them in different places. I feel like they've toured more than me. Especially, they used to be with this like burlesque show, Super Happy Fun Time, and they'd have the bus and everything, because a lot of them played together before we were a band, so they have that chemistry. They've known each other like 10 plus years. I think 2 of my bandmates went to college together, so that's how they know each other. So it's I don't think it'd be that much of a transition to like hit the road with them, because we're just so comfortable with each other. We spend holidays together and all that. So
when you have Thanksgiving with someone, you can.
Oh yeah. That's when you know. I feel comfortable, because I'm seeing a lot, like fewer and fewer people are spending Thanksgiving with family. We're the break generational curses generation. So I love to see it. And my family's like, you coming through? I'm like, no. I'm like, is it a public place? Is there security? If you check no to all the above, then the answer is no.
What's your relationship like with your family?
Well, I'm the baby of 5, so it's like, but I'm 34, so I don't want to be seen as the baby, viewed as a child, or just, like even rapping. They're just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But they see the other stuff, like winning grants, and that's when they're like, oh my God, well maybe this isn't just a hobby, or like I'm really out here doing something, trying to make something from this. But it's like they're going through things too. So I'm like, if we can't be together, once liquor gets involved, that's when all bets are off. So I just want to be somewhere where I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to look for exits. I don't have to, plan escape plans and shit. I want to be able to
protecting your
relax.
energy.
Right, absolutely. Some people, you're around them and you just feel drained. And I feel like 2020 was definitely my excuse to be like, let's distance.
Yeah.
And then I got used to that distance, and I said, let's keep distancing.
That sounds like the healthy move.
But it's love. I mean, the goal for me next year is to to see the babies. Like my niece just had a baby. I got the bracelet on from the hospital. She's a
okay.
year younger, you know, black families.
Yeah.
I got an older sister. So my niece is a year younger than me. She just had a baby. And what I miss is like my nieces and nephews. I miss them so much. My first nephew, he's gonna be 18 this year. So right.
He gonna be a grown man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it's time for us to go out, do fun stuff. Like I've really missed them over these past few years, and they're growing up. So I want to go back to being the fun aunt. I was the one, we're going to Six Flags every year, or let's go do something. So now that they're bigger, I'm like, let's go have fun. Let's travel. Let's see some stuff.
You have a daughter.
Yes.
How do any other children?
No, just one.
Okay.
Yeah. For now. I'm telling you, baby fever. It's catching.
You want another kid?
Absolutely. First off, my daughter is the cutest. I'm fine. These genes cannot go to waste. So yes, but it's the money thing. Like, God, they're expensive. And I just don't want to have to struggle. You know, I'm not a fan of the struggle at all.
And balancing. Do you still have your day job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Balancing the day job with the real career with a human.
Right. Right. Yes. And then relationship, I've been with my girlfriend 5 years. So like that is another
Does
aspect.
she want to know?
Yeah, she said we can if we're making like 200K a year. She does not do the struggle.
Yeah.
Either. So I'm working on that. I got about several 100K to go to reach that goal, but I'm gonna get there.
You and your girlfriend have been together for 5 years?
5 years, yep.
I feel like I met her at the show like once for like a second.
Yeah, she's my merch girl.
That's-
if you went to the pretty
right.
merch girl.
That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like when, you know, what you were just saying with family, how when you start off something in the arts, nobody takes you seriously until other people start taking you seriously.
Right.
And it sounds like you found a partner who started from the bottom with you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it has continued to encourage me, or has never made me feel like, why you still rapping? Never. Not at all. I think she sees it shows. She sees people's reaction. I remember when we first started kind of like dating, kind of talking, I was at a show and I got off stage and this girl ran up to me and like jumped on me, like wrapped her legs around my waist.
You need to answer that?
This is my girlfriend.
Oh, you can
Hilarious.
answer it? Fuck it, you can answer
Hilarious.
it. Put that shit on speaker if you want.
Hello. Hey, I'm doing a podcast, but I was just talking about you. This is hilarious. I was talking about when that girl jumped on me at the show, put her legs around me, wrapped me up. So I'm like, she's had to see the reaction for years. Okay, I'm sorry, but what's up? What's up? Oh, I love you too. I love you too. I'll be home probably like around 1. Okay, I'm just going to wrap up this and then I'll be home. Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Well, isn't this cutie patootie?
Oh, my God. That's just perfect timing. She's a Taurus, so she knows all things timing.
That's a really... that is so key to me. Like the arts in general... if you're gonna date, they need to get it.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Does she do anything?
Well, it's funny. We met because she is into branding. So her Twitter, Instagram, she just got verified on Instagram. So she is over the moon. But that's how we met. And I went from like 200 followers to like 1,200 like that, just from listening to her tips, but clearly it turned into more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking for my consultation feedback. If she hears this, I feel like I should get a credit for a service.
That's
But yeah, so she totally understands artists, and she's in media. She's a journalist, so she's unfazed by like she's interviewed like famous people.
yeah. So she gets all of it.
Yeah. So
No jealousy when. Because like I've had issues in the past where I'll dated somebody, I'll do a show, and you know, I think you'll get this. When you're the person with the mic, people get people get excited. They think you're bigger than you actually are, and I would have girlfriends get jealous because there'd be women talking to me after the show, and it's like, it's this weird balance. You know what I mean? But I don't know. So that's not an issue with her. She gets it.
No, I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. I feel like she's proud when she sees, like, here it comes. She especially she's at the merch table usually, so she's the one, getting the money, collecting, or she's got the Cash App and all that stuff ready. So I think she likes to be a part of it, and just seeing me go from nervous, about to be nauseous, oh God, why am I doing this again, to killing it, and then like reaping the benefits of that.
When did you start rapping?
I was probably like 13 when I just messing around in the lunchroom, freestyling. But I was doing poetry at like 7 or 8. I remember getting like a Dare Award for writing a Dare poem
about
not doing drugs. Yeah, about like you shouldn't do drugs.
Do you remember the raps?
Hell no, it was just a poem. I don't even know. Okay. I can't even begin to remember.
I'm picturing like that 1980.
They gave me that, like that. It was like a lion or something, like the Dare Lion, like lions don't get high. Don't put that on them. You don't know their life. Yeah. It's mad cush in Africa. Like don't play. But I've always loved rhyming. It's just always been something I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. And so I probably didn't get like really into it till I was older. I did some talent shows in high school. But I know by the time I was like 20, that's when I started hitting the studio, 19, 20. But I feel like after I had my daughter, that is when I got.
What year was that?
She was born in 2010.
Okay.
And that's really when I came up like with my name, Fury, because I'm just like, you can't be going out there, Samantha. What the hell, Sam? Or just, I needed something tough. I needed it. So I was just listening to my raps, and I just had a little mousy voice, but it was fierce. It was fire. I'm like, man, you sound mad as hell. Yeah. I'm like, Fury. Oh, and the more I say, I'm like, Fury. Oh. Yeah, so it stuck with me.
Is that something that affects your experience? Because I know in the comedy game, it's generally a boys' club. Is that the same thing in the rap community?
Oh, hell yeah. It's a boys' club, but I feel like women are creating their own lane, and just taking over, dominating. I'm a diehard fan of this ratchet revolution we are going through right now. It got me through 2020. I swear, that's when I started listening to Megan Thee Stallion. I'm obsessed with her. She's incredible. But these girls have bars. They're ratchet bars, but they are bars nonetheless, and that's what I love. And that girls are just free out here to be just as wild and crazy as we've seen men be since forever and a day. Yeah. Forever and a day. Like when I hear Glorilla, I hear Rough Riders anthem. Like just that's something that gets you charged, have you in the streets, just because it's causing chaos. Yeah. And we need that. Especially we were just kind of taught to just be quiet and ladylike and all this stuff. But there's different kinds of ladies to be like, and I love that.
So Meg Thee Stallion is one of your people.
Ooh,
so inspirations now would be like Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, I love Meg Thee Stallion. I've been listening to some Rico Nasty. I love Bia. Bia is one of my favorites. I like Mulatto. Well, she goes by Lotto now, but I like her Sunshine track with Lil Wayne. I think is on there. Yeah. Donald Glover, but. It's just a lot of just more exposure for women. I feel like when growing up in the 2000s, it was just like Nicki Minaj, or it just quickly went from like India Arie and Lauryn Hill. Then it was just like Trina, and but Lil' Kim was around. She was around in the 90s, but suddenly it was just Nicki Minaj for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Oh man. Okay, it's so different talking to musicians. Like I've been doing this with comedians, so the perspective and the way they speak is different. This is exciting because I'm in a different lane right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Mount Rushmore of rappers.
It would definitely have to be Queen Latifah. All hail the Queen. I love Left Eye. Tupac. And probably Nas. Nas. Like, I don't know every project of his, but I've never heard a bad Nas, and that's just because I get 4 to choose from. This list would definitely be longer.
So, like, did you hear Nas's his newest album and the what is it, King's Disease?
Yeah, I haven't heard the new one, but I've definitely listened to like Illmatic. I've listened to like early Nas, 90s Nas. But anything I hear him on is just always right in the pocket, like never fails.
What is the when you hear a rapper where you're like, oh, that's real good? Like, what is it that makes it sound good to you? That is a poorly worded question.
I mean, you know when you know. Sometimes it could be like the beat that kind of gets you going. Some people really don't listen the first time around the lyrics, and I've come to accept that, whether it's a good or bad thing. But once I listen, it's really just what the cadence, the flow. Some people do. Like, I fell off of Eminem for the longest because he would do so much alliteration, and it was just like too much. It was like oversaturated with, and sometimes I don't like a lot of puns. I don't like a lot of metaphors.
Trying to speak from the heart, rather.
Right? Yeah. And it just really depends on the song. I feel like with the ratchet music, it's really just to have fun and just kind of get yourself out if you're feeling a little down and you just got to get to bad bitch mode. Like, it helps. It helps tremendously. But when I'm listening to it, it's like I love a story. I love something that kind of makes you stop to where you can't even nod your head because you're like listening. And I feel like my music is like that because I sometimes look out in the crowd and see someone who's just like stuck and they're not moving. And they'll be one of the ones that come up to me like, I didn't want you to think I didn't like your music. I just had to hear every word. And those are like, that's really touching because some people are just there to vibe and wild out and all that. But for you to stop, because I go fast. Yeah. But if it's clear, if the sound's good and you can hear me clearly, like, it's a story that kind of takes your ass on a magic carpet ride. And like, that is the goal, is to just be really captivating.
It seems like you want to. When I haven't listened to the music enough to get the lyrics down, and I look forward to showing up at another show and being ridiculous in the front.
Oh, I loved it, man! I love that video. I watch it anytime you're there. I was like,
oh, there's video.
Somebody gets it, yeah. Because I have my 360 camera, and so it catches me perform, it catches the crowd, and you were just vibing. And I was like, he gets it. You were just like, oh.
I think it's because I play music. I'm not a musician, but I play music. And I love the arts, but there's something about rappers and comedians that just work. Yeah. And I think it's the style, the way the art forms are. They have so many similarities to them. And when I watch, I don't know, it's like when I'm performing for a dead audience that just doesn't even want to laugh. In my head, I'm like, well, if I'm going to another artist, I want to give them as much energy, because the energy you give them is the energy they're going to be able to give back to you. Right. In my opinion, and I think that's where that spastic energy comes from. But I have more questions. If you're curious or you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. But I, as far as rapping and comedy, I think it's all timing. Okay. Like, I think that's what syncs it up, and it's like, it's not just what I say, it's when I say it. It's how many syllables it is. Like, if you could break down a rap song into like an algebraic equation or, algorithm, you can tell like what I'm rhyming and what syllables, like in syncopation, but that is all timing, and it's the same with comedy because I love watching comedy, but I hate watching like bad comedy. It's something that just kills you because it's just like all off. It makes you cringe. So sometimes I won't watch a lot of stand-up. I've been getting more into stand-up. Like I just watched Sinbad, and he was like in Aruba, and it was like 5,000 people outside, and it was windy, but it was awesome. And what I didn't even notice about Sinbad is he doesn't cuss. No, like he wouldn't curse, but he was just so animated and just so funny and just the greatest time and all. Like grew up watching Bernie Mac. I watched his stand up, Kings of Comedy, and it's really all about time and it's cadence. Even with Bernie Mac when he's talking like this, and like just that cadence, that is yes, that is a flow in unto itself. And it's like me. I'll try to sneak comedy into my shows, like between songs, so I can. But to sit there or stand there and do a whole show, no music, like that's something I would love to challenge myself to do, because I just love comedy. I love making people laugh. It's gotten me through a lot of dark times, and it's really a true gift. Just to be able to make people laugh or just to know something's funny, but it all comes down to timing. Yeah.
Do you think that can even be taught? Can timing be taught, not only just comedically but musically? Because I think I've met people who they just can't do it. You know what I mean?
I would like to think with practice and watching, for some people it comes naturally. I feel like I gravitated to rap because it came very natural to me. I have especially auditory, just hearing. I've always trusted my ears, so if it could stay stuck in my head, I'm like, this is a good song. Yeah. This is a good line. If I can remember it, I'm like, this is a good song. This is a good line. Because if it's not that good, I won't remember it. I just won't dedicate it to memory. And so I'm sure you can, because I've gotten better. But I think it's because of my experience. It's different music I've been exposed to. Like if you hear my newer stuff, it doesn't take me as long to write songs now because I'm just not so hung up on, I need to change someone's life with this. I need this to be a masterpiece, because I started noticing like, man, why everybody got like 5, 6, 10 albums out? They've been doing this a year and there's just all this music. It's not to say I'll need to make a song every day, but I just need to not be so hung up on making something that's so perfect and just so heart wrenching. It doesn't have to be that. You could just go in, have fun, and make something that's like, just a vibe. It does not have to be the end all be all.
Yeah, you don't need to make a masterpiece.
Right, every time. And it's just me wanting to kind of keep up the standard that I saw in the 90s. But what I didn't realize is how many people were like closed and couldn't get in and on the screen. That's why everything looked so perfect back then. But now people look regular as fuck on TV. Yeah. And I love it. Like we were just talking, you had to be this size, this, you couldn't be too this, too that, can't say this, can't say that. And it's like now the regular, the better. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's like, it's something that motivates me to just go try something, try it, fail at something. I feel like a lot of times we don't want to fail. We don't want to look foolish, but man, you go on TikTok long enough, that shit, you're like, you better go make an ass of yourself.
Yo, speaking of making yourself look foolish, so like in comedy, obviously there's bombing. Mm-hmm. Have you ever bombed while rapping?
I don't know about bombed. I did this So Far show recently. It was my last one I did, and the crowd just was not in it. And it kind of depends on the atmosphere. It's not like they don't like the music, but it was weird. It was like this hotel kind of lounge place. It was hot as hell. It was like kind of a thin crowd, and it was downtown Chicago, right off Michigan Avenue. So it probably just wasn't their type of music. It wasn't the type of show they, were looking for. And sometimes those crowds kind of like give me the... Like, I don't know if I should keep doing these, because it just gives you that feeling like, man, it's an easy check. But I don't think this was like curated for people who would like this kind of music. Right. So it didn't feel like a bomb. It just felt like this is not,
It's not connecting.
We weren't connecting, yeah.
How do you handle that? Because, like, when I guess with stand-up, there's a required reaction. If you don't get that reaction, instinctively, like, this isn't working. And
well, I just kept it moving. Like, typically, if the crowd is really into the song, I'll do like some call and response. This is one of the few shows where I didn't ask them to say shit back, because I'm like, okay, let's just get it done with. Really, it's like a 15-20 minute set. Just got to do 4 songs. And I didn't even really say anything in between. I just kept it rolling. just because I wasn't feeling it. So if you're not giving me anything, I don't really have it to give to you. But still, even after that show, as I was leaving, someone in the lobby, they were like, you did great, you rocked, you killed. It's always someone giving you a word of encouragement. So I try to focus on that rather than, oh man, maybe they didn't like me, because I really don't think like that anymore. I just feel like you just need to find your people.
You seem like a fairly positive person. Like,
I can be.
Yeah. Okay.
I can be. This is my podcast.
Yeah. You. I get. I mean, everyone always has their journey and their process. Were you always this kind of just push through and keep going? Was that always you? Or?
No, I was the cookie that crumbled. I was the one who would just like curl up in a ball and cry. I'm a Cancer, so we feel things very deeply. I don't know. I think getting older, once you hit 30, your energy just kind of drops, or your tolerance for certain things, or you become more aware of your energy, the effect people have on it. And I feel like through my 20s, I was happy to be restless and, in drama and, just, and suddenly I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, I need a nap, and I need another nap, and I shouldn't need this many naps. But it's like when I'm around these people, I don't feel energized. So I think I just became more awareness. And I hear people say this all the time about 2020, like when everything shut down, it was really just like you and your household. So you had nothing but time to get to know yourself and read up some stuff and kind of find out who you are. And I kind of changed my name. Like, it's Fury, but I made it stand for finally understanding the real you. And that, people love that. They're like, oh. I'm like, hell yeah. Because I really, really had to just check myself. Who am I? What do I stand for? And I'm asking every day, and it changes all the time. And I'm telling myself that's okay, because what I used to do is just try to just stay in this, keep it real. But real changes depending on, new information, or you just become open to certain things that you didn't know before. So I just realized it's a journey, and allow yourself to change. So that's all. Like now, I push forward, but it doesn't mean I don't get down and like sometimes have to take a break.
Okay. This will be an interesting question. Did you know the controversy with T.I. in stand-up comedy?
That he's not funny.
I mean, that's part of it.
Is that the controversy?
So, okay. First off, so T.I. Okay, obviously, you know what he's doing there. And you know Hannibal Buress?
Yes.
Do you know he's getting into rapping?
Yeah, because he came to my open mic at Lyrics and Libations. He just showed up randomly. Yes. And my high ass was like, I stood there and it was like, and he looks at me and I look at him and he looks at me, and he did one of these. He's like, yeah, it's me. And I'm like, what are you doing? So yeah, we all took pictures, and he rapped, and he was just like rapping about fucking up in bowling or something. So it was like silly raps.
Yeah.
But he was rapping, and he's like everywhere. I see him doing shows and performing. So yeah.
Okay, so
super random.
Yeah, I wish I was there for that. I lost my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
But so with the T.I. stuff, and this is my own, and Godfrey, the comedian Godfrey.
Yes.
Ethiopian.
So he was saying he was headlining or something, and then he heard T.I. was here, and he left when T.I. got on stage or something.
So from what I gather, Godfrey was headlining the show, finished the show, then T.I. showed up and did a set afterwards.
Right.
And Godfrey took that as disrespect.
Right.
And I guess they had a back and forth, but the general sentiment of, from what I've seen of comedians with T.I. doing what he's doing, is like, generally we perceive it as disrespectful because of his approach to it. And I was wondering, like, I don't know how to put this into words, like why is it that it's like Hannibal can get into rap and it doesn't seem to feel as disrespectful as the way T.I. is getting into comedy? Does that make?
Yeah, no, it does. I feel like the approach, like you were saying, to me, T.I. seems like someone who everybody around him was laughing at his jokes because you're making all the money. You're the money guy. And so he took that and ran with it because you had all these yes men around you. So now you're getting into like real comedy clubs where people want to laugh. They're not here to hear your raps. They're here for you to make it funny. And you're not. You kind of just sound like that uncle at Thanksgiving where none of us want to hear from your ass. And you just telling us, oh, what we need to do and all these, like, we don't want to hear that. Yeah. They're corny. So you sounding just as corny. But to me, with comedians rapping, I feel like that's always kind of been intertwined. Like I remember watching D-Ray and he'll always rap or something or bust a freestyle and be silly. I feel like rap is more accessible just because you see everybody doing it. You see everybody doing it. You don't usually see a rapper suddenly trying to do stand-up, especially if you've been known for rapping and you got hit songs. They're just going to be like, oh, that's what I want from you. Not to say you can't be funny, but I don't see him, like, changing his stand-up. I see him doing the same thing he's doing now and just kind of waiting to find a crowd of dudes who are just like him.
Right.
Expeditiously.
Yeah. Do you know No Name?
No Name, yeah. The rapper, yes.
Yes, one of my favorites. Did you hear about her thing? I think she stopped performing live or something?
Yes.
Do you have more context to that?
So I remember seeing something on Twitter about it kind of hurt her to look out the crowd and just see white faces and to see white kids saying nigga back to me because it's in her song. She's not going to edit herself.
You write that something down real quick?
Excuse me. Oh, yeah. And I remember something on Twitter with like J. Cole in a book club and him just saying like follow No Name, support her book club. And that's when everybody realized J. Cole's kind of trash because he's like, I'm just a nigga who just be rapping. Like, I don't even read. He just straight up came out and said it. So he was like, follow her. But
oh yeah, they had a back and forth during.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Got a cough and smoked on the way here.
I support your decision. Yeah, I know that during the pandemic, during quarantine, during the protest, I want to say it was, they had a back and forth, which was disappointing to me. I think one of the things that I don't want to describe this as a compliment, but one of the things that conservative or white Republicans do well is being like in a this is our gang. No one's stepping out of line, and they're able to not get a lot of done. They're able to destroy a lot of stuff because they're so pinpointed, focused on things.
Right.
And sometimes it feels like the other side of that, we can't. All of the nuanced perspectives and intersectionality makes it a little more complicated. Then you have moments where, both of these artists are speaking out for us, and there's that infighting, and that can, for me, gets a little frustrating. But I'm curious what your perspective or knowledge is.
Well, let's see. When J. Cole first came out, I was a huge fan, but I feel like because he was like, I don't know, he was slick, he was kind of cute, college boy.
You don't like him with the locks, the freeforms?
It's not that I don't like him, but you just saw his whole persona change. But the music didn't match with the damn
message
persona.
Okay.
It was like when he first came out, it was always, blowing on my trombone. It was always, sucking on my sax, or it was just always he was gonna find a way to say suck my dick. And so I was like, okay, fine, he's a rapper, young, being mannish or whatever. But then, he's people just start treating him as this like woke, super woke dude. And I would listen to the music and it was still his tromboning, and it was just still the same type of lyrics. And so I was like, man, it just kind of started rubbing me the wrong way because I just wasn't impressed anymore. I'm like, but you're starting to, grow your hair out and just everybody just treating you like you're super woke, and the lyrics were not matching up. So I feel like when the No Name thing happened, especially Black Twitter jumped on it because he did say like, I'm just a nigga who be rapping. Listen to her. He's like, I don't even read. And for you to be like 30 at this point. Just, I'm not even gonna say proudly, but just stating, like, you're not woke. We knew you weren't, and really, it shouldn't just take locks and free forms for people to just hand over this title, this GOAT status, when we kind of knew that you weren't like that. And I think No Name, the frustration for her is that she is making music to free her people. Like, and she's been like adamant about it. She is not trying to impress y'all, and she's like, I retire because all the people that listen to me are white. You know, all the crowds I'm in front of are white, and y'all, it's just not matching up. So, as an artist myself, that's a fear I have as well, as not being accepted by my own community. It scares me how I can go somewhere and just be appreciated, but there's not a lot of black faces in the crowd, and sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to break into, you know, I don't have a lot of shows on the South Side. I don't have a lot of, and it does feel weird sometimes to just be like, man, the people who rock with me the most aren't black. And so she made a choice. I totally respect her for it. I really got into her music when that happened because I wasn't the biggest fan. Just her style of music, it didn't really hit with me. But I totally respected the hell out of her for that because you got to check your soul at the end of the day. And I never want to get off the stage and feel like just empty inside. I do this shit to fill myself up. And so once that stops, I would stop because I'm like, this is getting ugly and this is not where I want to be.
I have a lot of things to say now.
Okay.
I had to write so many that I didn't want to forget. So the first off, starting with J. Cole and the persona versus what's being said. So first off, again, going back to comedy compared. I'm sorry I'm doing this the whole thing.
Fine.
I keep comparing it because that's how
cool.
my brain works. But authenticity is, to me, a key word with comedy as well as rap. Like, there's something people want to seem to connect to who you are in your most authentic, stripped down version. And I think social media has, like you were saying, there's so many different varieties of people and styles and looks and opinions and perspectives. And I think people really enjoy seeing who you are.
Right.
And so what you're saying is who he is deep down, or from your perception of it, he's not matching what he's rapping about. It's incongruent.
Right.
Now, taking that out of it, the skill as a rapper, the technique of it, how do you feel in that regard?
I definitely think he can rap. He definitely has skills rapping, but it just wasn't as I don't know. I feel like it was kind of like simple bars that people were trying to make seem so
bigger than that.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just like, is it because I feel like they liked him? Mm-hmm. They liked his style, and people really gravitated towards that. But I'm like, that is not matching. It's like what you're saying. You're still just, you know, kind of objectifying women. Mm-hmm. And I know he had that song, "Let Nas Down."
I don't. Was it?
He has a song called "Let Nas Down," and I think it's because Nas kind of fell for, or he was feeling him too. Maybe that it was something like that. I don't remember. It was so long ago, but Nas told him something like, man, you were supposed to be the next one. You were supposed to be up next, because he kind of felt that same energy probably when he first heard J. Cole. And when you listen to more of his music, it's just that same, you know, get money, fuck bitches kind of thing. Yeah. So he made a song. J. Cole made a song called "Let Nas Down." I haven't heard it in a while. I've listened to it a few times. But I think that is what it was about, just that kind of burst bubble when you want to like someone and you want to, you know, want to believe them, but the music is not leading you to that.
Now, I'm assuming you don't feel the same about Kendrick.
I like Kendrick. I just don't.
Ooh,
I don't really listen to a lot of his music. Okay. I'm not even gonna lie. I listen to the projects when they come out, right? But he's not in my regular rotation like that.
Yeah, Kendrick is one of those, especially with his newest album, Mr. Morale. It's not something you're like, I think I'm gonna pop in some.
Right.
And we cry together.
And hear this girl cuss this nigga out thoroughly. I definitely remember that track. And it's like, it's voices. I think like with No Name, with Kendrick, that kind of alien voice they kind of do, kind of high pitched
You're just not
thing.
About that.
Yeah. I'm used to I don't know. I like deeper voices. Yeah. Always love Lil' Kim. Sometimes I'll go in the studio and I'll try to like kind of deepen. Yeah. I feel like smoking has helped me
Nice.
come down a little bit.
You're
but
the first singer
it's,
ever.
It's just that voice that gets me. Like I'd rather hear a deeper voice.
Like a Tyler the Creator.
No, because he even does like a goofy ass. Like his voice is goofy as hell. But I love Megan because she's like her shit's hard. Like she's rapping really hard. Lil Kim rap hard.
I'm seeing patterns.
Yeah, I mean even Lauryn Hill, she had a feminine voice, but it was still like hard delivery.
I have another. So many. I'm so I'm so happy that you're here. So Kendrick's album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I can't remember which song it is. I know it's on the later part where he talks about his not nephew, not uncle, but auntie. Okay. My what is it? My uncle is a man. Or my auntie is a man now. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if it's if his relative is a trans male or trans female. I can't remember how it goes. But did you hear that song?
I don't recall that one.
Never mind then.
Okay.
Well, there's a point where he throws out the F slur for the gay community, and is to make a point. His point being, this is the type of stuff we would say, and this is a person in my family that takes offense to that. And there was a big conversation about like, where is the line of him saying that word to prove a point, or is it gonna make things worse because he's saying the word in and of itself? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like he's trying to make a song from different points of view, so you have to act like that bigot or whatever to in like song.
The punch comes from the word itself,
right?
So I'm curious, as a member of the LGBTQ community, how do you feel about that?
Man, I could hear how you're saying it. If you're saying it like Eminem in 1997, you know what I mean? Woo, that's a difference. And I feel like as somebody who is queer, you know the difference. I feel like you know the difference between when someone's attacking you. And I've never heard anything from Kendrick, like homophobic things like that. When rappers feel like they need to go out of their way to say homophobic shit, I've never gotten any vibe like that from him. So personally, it doesn't bother me, and it's the same as like directors. Your ass is up in these Tarantino movies, and when he breaks records every movie for how many times niggas was said in the movie. So it's like it's his art, the way he's putting it out there. I think you could tell when someone is deliberately trying to offend someone.
Yeah, I guess there needs to be a self-awareness and a sincerity. And I'm all over the place now.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Now, with the homophobia, so you were talking about how, like, you don't get booked on the South Side like that. And I also find myself, as a comic, I find myself struggling more. I love going to the South Side to do stand-up because it makes me a better comic. It's a different, it's a different vibe. It's, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the comedians are of higher caliber generally because of how goddamn difficult and ruthless.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
Oh my God, just vicious.
Yeah,
but when they love you, they love. But when they don't fucking like you, they let you know. And one of the things that has been disappointing and frustrating is the level of like homophobia in the black community. When I go to perform down there, sometimes I'll sit there and I'll be listening to jokes. And I'm like, guys, this is not Eddie Murphy Delirious. It's not 1987. What the fuck are y'all saying? Do you find like when you're around other rappers and shit, do you find the homophobia to be an issue as well, or is that something that
no, because the rappers I'm around, they don't play that shit. They're queer. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I would give you more water, but
man.
I have gum.
Man, you have like honey or something?
Yeah, I got honey.
Yeah. I just need like a spoonful.
All right.
My girl gets me that all the time.
You can keep talking and I'll grab that shit.
Okay. Oh, man.
I don't edit shit, audience. Just so you know.
Hey.
All right, just a spoon?
Yeah.
Okay. But the homophobia, like, I mean, you see the flag and shit. Like,
yeah.
It's frustrating. I should have the mic. Hold on. I find it frustrating. Like, when we're talking, I'm really getting a sense of your inspiration specifically from women. Like the way you talk about rappers and the ones who inspire, the ones you always go back to are women, which makes perfect sense. Right. And it's, I guess what I've been finding myself in is artistically as well is a place of examining masculinity in general and within myself, and the balance of masculinity and femininity and what a man should act like. It's also complicated, and I wonder. I guess because you're not around that energy, you're protecting your energy. You're not around that, so you don't seem to have to butt heads with it pretty often.
Right.
Do people assume that you're bisexual, pansexual?
Oh, man, I drift from like bi to pan. I like the thought of pan because I really don't know, and I mean, there's like no way to put it, especially because I've been with my girlfriend for 5 years, and it's the first girl I've been in a relationship with, first girl I've dated. But just from things I've watched and seen, I'm totally open to being with someone who's trans or something like that. So I say pan just because I fall in love with the person. Honestly, like, so if I'm around you and I just feel this strong connection to you, and I can see myself loving anyone, despite what you began as, I love who you are now and what brought you to that point. But I hear homophobia and I try to get away from it. Like in my job, it's like a part-time job, but it's on the west side, so I work with it's all black folks. But it's hood. They're hood. Yeah. And the girl, she straight up said, if my son was gay, I would kill him. Jesus Christ. And the little boy is 5. Yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, so-and-so, she found out her son's gay. She been crying all week and shit like that. She's just like, if that was my kid, I'd kill him. And I'm like, oh no. I just try to like get away from people like that. But people around her was like, girl, you can't say that. That's your son. So, and it's funny just hearing how you may think a lot of people who are hood or black, they're homophobic, but I hear people stand up to it as well. Like, oh no, I love gay people. Oh hell no, my cousin gay, all this other stuff, and I just love my kids and want them to be happy. So it gives you hope, knowing that things are changing slowly but surely, and you just kind of have to wait for certain motherfuckers to die off. There's no nice way to put it. You fuckers will be dead soon. And your numbers are getting smaller and smaller, and it's just ridiculous that you base your whole life, your existence, on who somebody's sleeping with at night.
Right.
Like, your sexuality does not define the whole you. And I just hate how people have put so much emphasis on that. I could be a good, caring, kind person. Like, what I do to get off, as long as I'm not hurting anyone and it's consensual. Adults. Adults. Shit. That's when people want to blur the line. Like, y'all not getting no fucking pedo flag. That shit's not happening.
Yeah, I've seen.
Right. The attempts to put them on some kind of fucking spectrum, like, that's not gonna happen.
I would say that's a spectrum of mental illness, not sexuality.
Or you're trying to justify or just not vilify. Well, hell no. Like, we want sex should be pleasurable. It should be so pleasurable, and like consenting. Your partner should be comfortable too, because a new thing we're hearing is like sexual coercion is sexual assault.
What's that?
So that is like when a girl says no, but you think because you got game and she finally says yes, that you got some. But that in itself is like, she said no, she wasn't comfortable, but maybe because she didn't want it to turn violent, she just went through with it. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I like to be a contrarian. Get ready. Okay, now do you know Bill Burr?
Oh, the name sounds familiar. Comedian. Yeah, I think so.
Hands down one of my top guys.
Okay.
And he has this bit where I'm going to butcher it. So just
okay.
But it's something like he says something to the effect, he's from Boston too. So he's like he says something like no doesn't always mean no. and he says like, no, that means no. No, stop it. You're so bad. No, like that's a different type of no. Right. Would you, in going back to the whole Kendrick slur thing, I think it does depend on. It's so sex is complicated.
Oh, yeah.
It depends on context and what, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I get that. Like, there is like plain, playful, foreplay, things like that. But I think it's more so at a party. Maybe this girl's been drinking a little bit, and you're thinking, okay, she's down. You get her in a room, and you know she's kind of like freezing up, shutting down. Don't act like you can't fucking read body language now. You know what I mean? Don't act like she's not. She's having second thoughts. Yeah, and she is allowed to. You're allowed to say stop at any moment. Because this is not, I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying this. I don't like where this is going. That makes sense. Some dudes are just like, oh, you know, I just got to warm her up and all that. Like, hell no. This is not something you should be proud of. You know, you should. It's different if y'all get in that room and she jumps on your ass and. Yeah. Now, you might be the victim. But there's just a huge difference between like flirting and just when someone is totally shutting down and probably just doing something just because they're scared. You're going to get violent if they say no.
Yeah, I get you. I wanted to go all the way back to No Name and all of that again. So I went to see Pivot Gang and Saba last night.
Metro. Yeah, that shit was lit.
Were you there?
No, I saw the stories. People's stories. Vocalo was in the building. So.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I did, and I had I went to that show, and then right after I was hosting at the Comedy Clubhouse, and I opened my set talking about how like, so I went to a rap concert, which means I heard a lot of white people saying nigga. I'm in the front. I'm looking around. I'm like what he said? He said, West Side niggas go crazy. And you hear the audience, West Side niggas go crazy. And it's like the decibel did not match the amount of niggas.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, niggas is loud, but not that motherfucking loud. Yeah.
And I guess I've not mixed. It frustrates me because I'm there. I want to have a good time. I'm not going to be like, hey, everybody.
Right.
You said, like, I want to pay attention to the show and enjoy myself. But
it's hard.
It's really hard. It's really frustrating.
Shit like that makes you want to bring back segregation.
Yeah, a little
for
bit.
Our sanity.
Bit. And it's frustrating because then I go back to the No Name thing where I'm like, I get why you'd be done. It makes sense. But why is it? What is it about these white people that are gravitating to? Why aren't black people at all these concerts to the point where white people can't even get in? What is going on?
Well, I just think that not all of us like rap like that. Honestly, rap is not. If you went through my playlist, it's probably 15% rap, and most of it is like women rapping. There's not a lot of male rappers, just because the rap that was around in the 90s when I grew up, it was very misogynistic. And if you listen to that shit, you will not like yourself as a woman. You will not, have that same confidence. And so I don't listen to it. So I think white people listen to the music. It touches somewhere in their soul. Sometimes
they have souls?
I'm not even gonna get into that. But they wanna be down like really, really bad. Especially you have Google will let you know your damn history. Go ahead. You can learn exactly what's going on. They know what's up. And like I think their kids are embarrassed. Their grandkids are embarrassed. What the hell your grandparents were, your mom, your dad. And it's just a different time where they just want to be a part of this, what's going on. Like, black liberation is happening, but like in the fucking Malcolm X movie, when the white girl came up to him, like, what can I do for you? And he said, nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Like, you can't. And you saying nigga is not gonna make you a part of anything. And I don't give a damn if your husband's black, if your wife's black, your kids are mixed, whatever. And it hurts them, and that's fucking creepy, and that's something they need to come to terms with. That shit is creepy. When you feel like you're, just because they tell you to say, nigga, they're not talking to your white ass. Yeah. They're not. Yeah. And so I mean, but to the artists, they got bills to pay, you know, because Lil Wayne ain't telling nobody not to say nigga. He know who his fan base is. Mm-hmm. He know who's filling these stadiums. So it's like they're paying the money.
It's so hard. Like as an artist to find the line of I want to make what I want to make for who I want to make it as myself, and I also need bills.
Right.
And it's trying to find that line. Like I find myself performing in these rural areas that are scary. Sometimes you've seen a little bit of my comedy and what I talk about.
Yep.
I'm sure you can imagine what that's like in front of, overall wearing, truck driving.
Hell yeah, Indiana motherfucker. Yeah.
And finding that line of like, I want to be me, and we're gonna make jokes, and I want you to laugh because it's my literally my job to make you laugh.
Right.
But I also want to be up here shucking and jiving.
Cooning, yeah. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous because I grew up. So my dad lived in Chicago on the west side. My mom moved us out to the suburbs. So I was raised around a bunch of different colored, ethnicities, all that. Really, I didn't have a black friend until like middle school. And then I had black friends in high school, but it was still, I had got so comfortable being around all different types of races. It was hard for me to connect with black folks because I would associate black people with what I would see on the west side, which is a different breed. I remember a kid trying to bust my brother's head with a brick, and we're like 8 years old because he lost a basketball game. So I'm like, why are they mad? Why are they angry? But now as an adult, I live on the west side. I'm in Austin. Shit, that's where Saba and them are from. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's kind of what my new project is about. Revolution is like, I got tired of being afraid of my own people. Like, honestly, because that means you're afraid of yourself. You're afraid to face your history, to see why. There's a reason why they're angry. There's a reason why they're mad. The kids you grew up with, they had parents. They had houses. And so I have to fight my own comfort that I feel being in white crowds. I have to push myself because the music I'm making is for my people as well. This is my perspective as a black woman coming up in America. Like, that's always going to be my point of view, and I can't change that, and I don't want to change it, but I do have to get out of that comfort zone. But it's hard because you don't want to go somewhere where people just kind of treat you like you're just another nigga. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like, any black person who goes out with a white friend, they be like, oh, let me get you a beer. Let me get you a drink. Here, let me roll up. Let's do, like, here, let me get you this. Let me get you that. And then you got to go around your own people, and it's like, that's so-and-so. They'll talk down to you, all that shit. So it's like, how much abuse are you willing to put up with to be around your people? And I just think, as black people, just us being black is not enough. Yeah. Like, you got to think, as African Americans, we have been forced together for so long. That's why we break apart. That is why we trying to find our own lane, because everybody's just been like, you're black, you should like this. This is for you. When that's not true. I love all kinds of music. I love all kinds of, cultures and things. And I feel like you get stifled if you just listen to just rap and just all the urban shit. That is not our true story, because there's black everywhere, every country, every continent. We're everywhere, just to learn that we're in Australia and we're the Aborigines. When you hear that shit, they're talking about black people. So it makes me more comfortable knowing, hey, I belong everywhere. And that's what I want to encourage black people to do. Don't just get comfortable on your same block, your same hood. Travel. Like, go. It took me forever to get downtown. It took me forever to go up north and all these other places. But I want my daughter to know, hey, we black. She go to a black school. But we can go anywhere. Feel comfortable anywhere. People stare, let them stare. But always feel like I could step out. Don't ever feel like you got to step back and just stay in this one zone. So I admire you for going out, because it's something. It terrifies me to tell a joke and then no one laughs. Like, that is an ultimate fear, and that's one of my it's on the list of worst ways to die. It's just from you just embarrassment sinking into yourself. So but it's just one night, because the next night fucking kill it. You just never know. And I'm sure the roar of the crowd when they're laughing, just like when people are clapping to your music, it's just the same, and it's worth the risk. So it's great that anybody can find something that they're willing, to try and fail at, but still it's worth that risk. Because once it's good, oh shit, ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it.
I think that was a really good way to end. It was beautiful. All right, let's take these pictures.
All right.